as it's Serafin BJJ against Curran Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in this matchup. Christian Reynoso alongside UFC veteran and fellow black belt Jessica Penne. What a night we've had thus far, Jessica, and we're just getting to the black belts now.
I love how we had a nice warm-up with the blue belts, the white belts, the purple belts, and now we're diving into the black belts.
I can't promise I could tell you the difference, even with all my years of training, because the level of talent has already been so high thus far, Jessica.
The white belts and the blue belts have actually impressed me because I wouldn't be able to tell what belt they were at this point.
Threatening a front headlock there is Rene Alvarado. As I mentioned, a black belt underneath Jeff Curran. Back in the day, of course, he was part of the MMA team as well. He had some mixed martial arts fights. Now at 48 years old, Rene Alvarado decides the competitive juices are indeed still flowing as he takes on another veteran in Edward Jackson, a 17-year veteran of the mats.
You know, I feel like that competitive drive just really never leaves a person, and it's great that jiu-jitsu is that outlet. It's something that I see myself competing in now that I've retired from MMA, and a lot of people. We have Josh Neer ahead of us, and he's one of those MMA veterans that's fulfilling his competitive drive through jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing that these opportunities present themselves. And go ahead and get Rumorville started on Reddit, as there you hear it, Jessica Penne, potentially JCI1. You never know. But back to the matter at hand as Rene Alvarado facing off against Edward Jackson. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Like, it's wonderful to see opportunities like other striking arts, let's say, like BKFC or things like that present. But with jiu-jitsu growing, it's amazing to see these opportunities. Here we see Rene Alvarado settling into side control.
And it looks like he's going to start trying to isolate that arm, look for a Kimura from from north-south.
The way Edward is looking to control that wrist from the bottom, it almost looks like he's looking to threaten a triangle.
As he throws up that triangle, a little bit of a scissor grip with his legs.
If I'm not mistaken, I saw him looking at the Jumbotron to analyze his position before throwing up that triangle. We've seen that in the past.
That's the difference between the previous belts and the black belts.
That's a great point. It's not just the skill, but it's the wherewithal to recognize things like that. Now, here's that bottom triangle, that inverted triangle. Inverted and backwards from Edward Jackson. Like a young Missy Elliott looking to flip it and reverse it.
Alvarado on top was doing a great job of really putting pressure on the legs of Jackson, not allowing him to really secure that triangle. That was really good, by the way.
I'm sorry.
It was so good.
The dad jokes are flowing as we hit the black belt portion of the card.
I love a dad joke.
Isolating that arm is Alvarado. I mean, Jessica, sometimes you can just see from the outside looking in a player that has top pressure that is just it's suffocating. You can see that from Alvarado. He does have that top game, not really letting Edward Jackson move too much.
You could see Jackson, his back was completely flat, and that was due to the pressure of Alvarado.
But no sooner do I open my mouth and jinx Alvarado, Edward Jackson recomposing that full guard with a little over 3 minutes remaining.
He's doing a good job at keeping the head down of Alvarado, but a little bit inactive with his guard. I like how he just started trying to climb up for a high guard position. That's where the triangles, that's where the arm bars happen, that's where the magic happens.
So at this point, Jessica, where yes, he's been on top. Yes, he's thrown up some attempts, but speaking of Alvarado, of course, it is still very much anybody's match at this point.
Yeah, nobody has had a extremely polarizing kind of offensive attempt. Nothing that completely stands out. They're still kind of feeling each other out, if you will, figuring out what they can do, what they can get away with, their path to victory.
Strong fundamentals in play for both of these fighters. As you see them not necessarily in a stalemate, but in a position where neither one really knows what their next best route is. I mean, the pressure of Alvarado is real. Looking to break the posture is Jackson, but unable really to do anything with either fighter.
I would like to see Jackson probably abandon close guard at this point. It's apparent that Alvarado has a very good base, very good control of the hips, and he's not really allowing Jackson to move around and throw up those threatening attempts.
Jackson with Blake Glassman in his corner, who we'll see later on in the card. Alvarado with Justin Seeberger in his corner, who we'll see later on in the card. Fighters and coaches doing double duty tonight here at the Jeff Curran Invitational.
That's hard to do in any other sport, but in jiu-jitsu, as we were talking about earlier, this is the sport where you can really form together and motivate and prepare each other, even if you're a coach and a competitor.
Well, you talked about the congruency that kind of exists between being a coach and a fighter in this jiu-jitsu realm. But also, I think, in my humble opinion, if you're to corner somebody in an MMA fight, that takes a heck of a lot out of you versus coming out here, and correct me if I'm wrong, cornering somebody in a jiu-jitsu match. Win or lose, you can very easily take that momentum with you and you try to use it as fuel later on in the evening.
I agree with you. I'm in complete agreement. In MMA, it's a lot more challenging to do. I don't recommend it in my experience, not saying it's not possible, but in the realm of jiu-jitsu, it is feasible. So Jackson is getting his legs up, but what I'm not seeing is his hips allowing him to really solidify anything. I like that they both stood up, but just as the buzzer rings.
Opening round. With there being no winner, it's time for our overtime round.
I think this is going to come down to who gets the takedown, because they're so evenly matched. They're so well prepared for each other's game.
And interestingly, after spending the majority of that first round on bottom, Jackson elects for neutral, likely thinking that he'll be able to get that aforementioned takedown, Jessica.
That would definitely be my strategy if I was him. The bottom has not been working for him. I think it's time to switch it up.
Easier said than done, especially considering the body type discrepancy. You know, the more compact, smaller fighter being Rene, sometimes tricky to get underneath there for a shot.
You're absolutely right.
Nice body lock there. That's one way to work around the size discrepancy.
And he gets the body lock takedown.
And there's that black belt experience you were talking about, Jessica. It's realizing that you do have to change things up a little bit sometimes on the fly. Great job by Edward Jackson. Still 2 full minutes remaining in this overtime period. Plenty of time for both fighters to make a statement.
I see Jackson slowly trying to isolate that far side arm of Alvarado, potentially getting a Kimura, but Alvarado's wise to it, and he's staying pretty safe.
Potential crucifix here in play for Edward Jackson.
See, from here you can you can hip down, you can start isolating that arm, you can step over for a triangle. There's a lot more options.
And it feels as if Jackson potentially baited Alvarado into this position right here.
Alvarado remaining calm, though.
I mean, spending 19 years under the roof at Team Curran, it lets you know a guy like Alvarado has been there and done that with a who's who of talent. So he's able to stay cool in these situations, but let's call a spade here. Jackson with a very, very good position to wrap up this overtime.
Alvarado has a bottom side darce And Jackson is wisely leaning in with that shoulder pressure, trying to stifle it. They could both get a choke from here.
It's like
a strange
no arm. Yeah, there's. Well, it was a valiant effort, is what it was, Jessica.
It was a bit more of a nuisance than an actual attack, though.
But at this point, if you're Rene, you got you got to be going for broke, right? Ooh. A strong overtime for Jackson. We'll let the judges render their decision as we await the voice of the JCI tonight, the indomitable Ray Flores, as we await our winner.
After having completed 2 rounds, we go to the scorecards. For our overtime round, our first judge sees it 10-9 in favor of Jackson. The second judge scores it 10-9 in favor of Alvarado. And our third and final judge has it 10-9 in our overtime round for your winner by split decision. Out of the black corner, Edward Jackson. Also, round of applause to our opponent, to his opponent, Rene Alvarado.
Edward Jackson does enough in the overtime to get the nod in a very closely contested matchup.
We now get ready.